everyone, and welcome back to Project Life Thursdays. We are going to dive in and I am going to share with you what I am doing for February. Right here, I have a container. You'll actually see this on my website tomorrow. I'll have a video about this container and how I keep all of this stuff out for when I'm working on Project Life. I find it better. It just works for me if I keep all of my current stuff out and my album out. I just tend to work on it like more frequently. So in this container, I got the container at Amazon. Again, I have a whole video coming out about this container tomorrow. And I just have some products that I use with this. I have a couple of the Ali Edwards, the larger stamps. These are like the 6x8 stamps. I actually don't have another place for those anywhere in my office, so they work out well there. And then I have the dies, those alphabet dies from Stampin' Up. And then I have a hexagon die set, and those are just currently like the dies that I'm using. I also stick my photos for the month. Like I had already gotten February photos printed, so those were in there. And then I keep my current kits that I'm using. So this month, for the month of February, I'm using the February Stories by the Month, which is what you see right here in this plastic envelope. Again, all the details for these envelopes, for this container, the way I organize that will come out tomorrow. It will just be a public YouTube video. And then the other kit that I'm using this month is the February themed kit by Ali Edwards, because it was XOXO, and these two kits seemed to match really well. So I went ahead and I put up here on the screen a screenshot of the product. So this is the story theme. Ali Edwards does a couple different subscriptions, and one is the theme, which is like this one is XOXO is the theme, and then the stories by the month is obviously, you know, January, February, March, and so on. So this one is XOXO. It came out in February. And then this next one is the February Stories by the Month, and that came out in January. So I had held on to that to do my January stuff with. I'm going to mix these two kits up and use them. Now, I'm not going to use any of the butterfly stuff. I'll probably use that next month for March. I didn't use any of the butterfly stuff, but I just took all of the February like heart stuff and red and pink stuff, and I mixed all of that together. So that's what I'm going to start to do here, is I'm just going to start to pull apart the kits that I'm going to use. Part of the kit had like very fun colors like yellow and pink, and I pulled out all of like those pieces and I put them together to use on something separate. And then I pulled out all the pinks and reds and I kept those together, and that's what I'll use for February. So there's some like 6x8 papers here. Again, anything that I think that I'm going to be using like coming up, I will just go ahead and keep. Now, the stories by the month are like, we got the February stories by the month. We got that in January. So in February, we got the March stories by the month. And then I just use these envelopes that you get in your die, like with your die cuts. You know what? And I'll talk more about those tomorrow in my video that I'm going to release about the container I use or how I keep them sorted. So I'm just going to start pulling out both of these kits. Now, the kits don't always match. It's not always a situation where the themed kit of the month matches the stories by the month. It just so happened that this did. And so I'm going to pull all the pieces out and all of the paper out, and I'm going to see what I want to use. Again, some of this paper, some of the pieces had like the teal, the yellow, like the green. I'm going to set all of that aside, and I'm going to actually use it for another layout. Sometimes if I have a lot of product that coordinates like that, I just stick it in a clear bag and then I can use it on something else. Otherwise, I will just break everything up and organize it and all of my other stuff in my office. So like I keep all my chipboard together, all my wood veneers together, all of these plastic puffy hearts, I keep those together. So one of the things that I do with these kits is like right here, These are puffy hearts. There are 2 sheets. I will cut the white part that is the backing. I cut it at the bottom so I can still see the Ali Edwards branding at the top. And then I take my small stapler and I staple them together onto this white like piece of chip, like cardboard piece. And then that way they stay together. And then I actually organize like all of my puffy hearts go together. That sheet of puffy heart stickers is a very common product for Ali Edwards, just like the word phrase stickers are a very common product for her. So I keep all of those together. And one of the reasons I started getting Ali Edward kits many years ago, like I've been getting her kits now for 6 or 7 years, is because I really wanted to build up my stash of items that were different. So like different chipboard, different word phrase stickers, that sort of thing. Now, after getting them for so many years, it's nice that I have a collection of those items. So it's a really great way to build up your stash of items if you are wanting a lot of different types of things. So the other thing that I normally do is I normally just put these all together when I break the kits up after I'm done using them. Like I will put all of my 4x6 cards together. I put all of my word phrases together. In this case, this kit has, I feel like 2 separate kind of main colors. There's these pinks and reds that are great. And then there is a set that has like yellow and teal. And so I'm actually going to pull apart the pieces that have like that yellow, teal, green. I'm going to pull those apart and keep them together so that I can use them on another project that will be more specific. And then the rest of the items like the chipboard, or I got this pack of their like die cuts, and then these like circles with the vellum on them. I will go ahead and I will just organize those in my regular kits. And then I'm taking anything that has the butterflies on it, and I'm going to go ahead and stick it in my March kit. So the items you just looked at that we were just pulling apart, that was from the story theme. And then this is from the stories by the month. So you can see like that green I'm pulling apart. And then there's like some yellow that I will put together, that card right there. I think a lot of these will look so good with another project. I'll just like keep it together. I love that 1, 2, 3 card. I'm going to do some fun journaling on that card. It goes really well with this other kit. So that's what I spent the first little bit doing, is just pulling all of the pieces apart. It also helps me to understand what is in the kit so that I know what I want to use. If I just dive into like adding photos and like doing all of that, sometimes it's hard because you don't know exactly what you have. And I also like to use certain elements all the way through the month. So like those puffy stickers, the word phrase stickers, the chipboard, I will try to use those all the way through the entire month, and it helps tie everything together. So here we are with my Project Life album. We are in February. Now, the 2 things you're not going to see me do in today's video is the calendar. I'm going to do that separate because I want to get out my stamps, and I want to do what I did last month. I really liked that. And then the journaling, I'm going to do that separate. So hopefully you'll see that next week, and I'll wrap February up so I can dive into March. So I already had my photos from February printed, and what I'm doing now is I'm separating them into the like micro stories I want to tell and then like the everyday photos. So unfortunately, I have just not been taking photos well. I just have not, I've been forgetting to take them. So that's been a little bit hard. So originally I thought that I would pull out a set of paper, like I wanted a couple pieces of pattern paper. That usually is helpful for me to have. And this would have worked. It has that teal and the pinks. I end up not using this paper at all. The pinks were not the right shades of pink. So the pinks were more of like a purpley kind of pink, and the ones in the kits from Ali Edwards are more muted. So I ended up having enough because I think between having the stories by the month and the stories, the XOXO story kit, I ended up just having enough items that it worked. So I'm going to go through the cards here and I'm going to start figuring out what I want to use. I want to use this big XO card as my February card, like my February title card. I don't necessarily think I need to have February or like the month in that upper corner because I do have the calendar that has the month on it, and then I have the divider, so it's easy to see like what month it is. And here you see, like, I'm just realizing like I don't think I can make the paper work with this kit. It's just too muted. And then also you see that February card right there. Originally I was going to put that in the beginning here and do some journaling on it. But what I realized is it's larger than 3x8. So it's not going to fit in a 3x8 page protector. It is like to go outside of a page protector, and I don't want to do that. I wanted it to go in a 3x8 page protector, and there's no way to cut that down. The word February is longer than 3 inches, so there's no way to like really cut that down, unfortunately. So I end up not using that February piece right there, which I right here I'm like, I think I can cut it down and then I can just add it to a 3x8 page protector. So I'm trying to like figure that out, and I just realized like it's not gonna work. I do cut this piece down thinking I was gonna back it on the very back of that February, so it would look like this. So the February card would be on one side and then the pattern would be on the other side. I do not know what I'm saying here because I cut out all the audio. I think I'm explaining like I thought it would go in a 3x8 and it won't. It's not going to. I end up just scrapping that whole idea. But this is just the process. I'm sharing with you the process I really go through, which is trying things out, and trying to figure out, I realize at this point the paper isn't going to work. So the pattern paper I picked isn't going to work. So what I am going to do is go to my Project Life core kits, and I'm going to pull out some product that's going to work really well with this. So what I did is I pulled out product from the Click core kit. The Click core kit is like the colors are like black and white and then red. And so that's going to work really well. So what I did is I pulled out days of the week cards, Monday all the way through Sunday. And I'm going to make those the middle of the rows for my normal like everyday photos. And I thought it would be really cool to do like some journaling based on like, what do we do on Mondays? What do we do on Tuesdays? What do we do on Wednesdays? I did this series in my 10x10 album a couple years ago. I did what I love about. So I did like what I love about Monday, what I love about Tuesday. And I did some documenting. All of that has changed drastically because my husband has changed jobs. I have 2 kids now, like Violet's in middle school, Kayla's in high school. That makes things so different. The kids are all in the same school district now, where Kayla was going to a more of a private school for middle school. So she was in a different district. So our life has drastically changed since I did that. So I thought it would be really fun to do like the days of the week, Monday, Tuesday, you know, all the way through, and then do like that sort of journaling, like what I love about Mondays, or like what do we do on Mondays kind of thing. So when I do my journaling, you will see that, and I will do that down the middle. So then the rest of the photos in the 4x6 slots are just everyday photos. They're just photos from like different, you know, things that we did. There's like nothing like really special about them. So I pulled out some page protectors. The first page protector is this one here, and I'm going to slice off the end. So it's a page protector that has a bunch of 3x4s. It's like a 9x12. Actually, it is exactly like an Ali Edwards 9x12 page protector. I could have just used one of those. I realized that afterwards. And then I have this one, which I think is a design I or a design H. Becky Higgins, the way she does her page protectors are different now. And some of the old school designs we don't have anymore. She doesn't have anymore. And those are the page protectors I use. I use Becky Higgins and Allie Edwards. So these are going to be the stories that I want that are like standout stories for the month. So one of the things that, photos that I took during the month of February was some stuff outside. We've had some really crazy weather here in California. And so we've had like some damage around our property and some things that needed to be cleaned up. And then this was actually the little tiny window before we had another major storm hit, before we had all the snowstorms hit. And then right after the snowstorm, we had a huge rainstorm that hit. This was right before that. So it was like right after the craziness in January, like end of December, beginning of January storms, and then like right before all the other ones happened. So these were some pictures from outside. I'm not an outside person. I think I've talked about this before. Like, I'm not a plant person. I can't keep things alive. The outside of our house isn't like pretty, like there's never been like, we've not spent a lot of time doing things outside because we're just not outside people. The last couple of years, we've like started to try to do a few things and do like, you know, I have some plants. And my friend Wendy Cranford, you may know her here on YouTube, she gave me some succulents that were actually from her grandfather's, like from her grandpa who passed away a couple years ago. And that was really, really special for me. I really was, you know, thankful that she had given those to me. And so we've tried to keep some things alive. So here we are like cleaning up outside from the first storm. And thank goodness we did, because the second storm came in. So these are some, like that busy card right there is from the Click Core Kit. And it matches perfectly, like the reds and it matched perfectly. So then there's the February card that is from Allie Edwards. And then the Days of the Week cards are from the Click Core Kit. And so you see, I just have a, like right there where it says Click, that pile right there is from the Click Core Kit. And I have so many core kits. I have just about basically every core kit that Becky Higgins ever released, I have. And I have multiples of some, like Click. I have like 4 of those core kits because I found them at Tuesday Morning, when Tuesday Morning had a huge selection of them. And I bought a bunch, like the Click Core Kit. I bought a bunch of the Midnight Core Kit. I have like 7 kits of the Midnight Core Kit because I loved it so much. So the other story that I want to highlight for the month of February are these photos of Kayla. And these are photos that she sent me. She is in drama and she is in a play coming up. And so she had sent me, she had showed me a couple of the photos, and then I had asked her to send them to me. It's strange, as they get older, it's like I have less and less photos of them because I'm not always with them taking photos, and she has her own phone and she does her own thing and takes her own pictures. And so I asked her to send these to me, and I thought it would be really fun to highlight her trying on different costumes. This is from the Click Core Kit, and I'm gonna find one. I love this and that, because she has the glasses on and then she has the pirate hat on, so I thought that would be really fun. I'm gonna trim it down. I'm gonna cut off a little bit of the words on the top and the bottom the way they are on this card, but it still looks really good. So I just cut it down to 4x4. That's that slot. So it says this and that, which I thought was perfect. And then there is this other photo of her with more of the costume on. And I find a really cool way to use that photo because of the way she took it. She took it horizontally and it's tall. It's not going to fit in any of my pockets. So if I had been thinking through the way that I would do the photos, I would have printed that as a 3x4 photo. Now, I could totally reprint that as a 3x4 and stick it in one of these pockets, but what I end up doing is kind of cool, and I really liked the way it turned out, and I want to do it more often. So again, I'm just shopping these cards around and trying to figure out what I want to do, and I'm seeing here like, okay, I can't put it in one pocket, it's not going to work, but it's not necessarily tall enough to do in 2 pockets. But what if I stick it in this bottom pocket, and then what if I cut it and I put the top part of the photo in the bottom part of the middle pocket? And this worked out so good. And I love the way I embellished this in the end. I think it worked out really good. And I may do this in the future. I think it was a really cool way to use that photo. I definitely want to have something behind Kayla's head in that middle 3x4 pocket. So I will find something that will go there. And then I thought, like, at this point, I'm thinking, like, maybe I could do some journaling on it. Maybe I could do, like, a title on it. You know, there's lots of different things that I could do. So that's the front part of this pocket. And then the back part, I will do something else with. So there's the calendar. I haven't done anything with the calendar yet. So I have a couple places. I have the back of this piece, and then I have the back of the Kayla one as well. And then this is kind of what I have left. It's like all of the pieces that I was working with. Now, the other thing I did that you'll see at the end of this video is I did do some larger photos of the big storm that we had. Now, the storm was like the end of February, beginning of March. I'm putting all of the photos that I did, I'm putting them all in February. And that's fine. And these photos here I'm doing these on the back of the this and that. I'm doing these photos of Kayla, and they were actually taken in January, but I didn't use them in January. So I'm going to go ahead and use them in February. And I mean, nobody cares, right? Like, nobody cares. So I had already put on my Avery Index tab, and I couldn't get into that pocket. So you saw, I just took my snips and I snipped the sticky part of the Avery Index tab, and that's how I was able to then use that in get the photos in. And then I really loved this 1, 2, 3 card, and so I trimmed it down to a 3x4. And then originally I was going to use this little strip. It had it had a little phrase on it, and I was going to use it. But I thought that card would be perfect because it's 1, 2, 3, and then there's 3 photos of Kayla. So that's what I'm going to use to do the journaling. And I love that. And then I'm just going to use, I think I used some pattern to go on the top and the bottom of that. Like, I think I used that stripe maybe. And then on this, I'm just going to, I think I used the stripe on this back part. I just cut that down. I like that that Allie is including these like 3x8 papers. I think it gives us something different to use that matches the kit. And I really love the way things match. That's one of the reasons I like getting her kit, is like I like having all this product that matches. So I'm going to use those stripes on the top and the bottom, and then I will add embellishments to them later. So I just cut all of that down. And then the 1, 2, 3, you'll see the journaling. I'll do that probably next week. I will do the journaling and the calendar. I haven't done the calendar yet. So now I have the back of this pocket page. And what I will end up doing is I will end up adding some weather photos to this. At the time that I'm putting the cards and items in here, I'm really not sure what I'm going to add, like what story I'm going to end up telling, because I don't really have any more photos for February. I just really did not take as many photos as I wish I would have taken. I really want to use these pops of like black. So like the 4x6 cards. See, I'm snipping it right there. You just snip right on the line. So you can access your pockets even if you've stuck an Avery Index tab in there. So I just really haven't focused on taking photos. Like I guess I just have kind of forgot. And we have been in the middle of like so many storms and stuck at home, and like not like, I mean, how many times do I really need to take a photo of us playing games, like, or watching movies, or like, there has not been a lot happening. And that's okay. I think you go through ebbs and flows of like when you're taking photos. I definitely, when I start noticing that I'm not taking as many photos, I try to make it a priority. Like I'm trying to like think about it more, like in like with the days, you know, like, oh, what can I take a photo of? A lot of times at the beginning of the month, I will plan the stories I want to tell. So that will become a focus. In the month of February, I didn't have any clue what I wanted to document or the stories I wanted to tell. That will get easier as it warms up and life sort of returns to normal. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start adding embellishments. So this is it's like a plastic, you get a plastic word, whatever, like the kit is XO this month. So the little plastic word was XO. And what I did is I just clipped that into my album. One of the things that I love about Project Life, and one of the reasons I love adding all the different page protectors and all of the different Avery index tabs and dividers, is because of how interactive it is. You are physically turning different pages and interacting with the album. So a lot of times I do that where I clip things into my album that are on the outside of page protectors or are in the rings like that. So the XO is just clipped in the ring. Now I will say that like my kids, I leave my albums out. So we have a place in the living room on a piece of furniture that I leave albums. I rotate them in and out. So past years and present years, I just leave them out and we flip through the albums. My kids flip through the albums. My kids come in here into my office and they get out their own albums and flip through them. They have done that, and that has been a part of their life since they were babies. And so they know how to flip through the album. They know how to not have things get torn or pulled out. And so I never necessarily worry about like that XO in the outside. When somebody's flipping through that, if it's our family, if it's my kids, it's going to be fine. If it's somebody else, they're usually taking it slow anyways because they're wanting to look through it. So I don't necessarily struggle with like doing that. I really like doing that. I think it adds a really fun element to your album. But I can see you might be a little bit worried about it. And if you are, I would just start, you know, when people are looking through your albums, like tell them, like there's things on the outside of the page protector, so you have to be careful. Always use a page lifter in all of your albums so that when somebody just closes your album, that page lifter will make sure everything goes back flat and that it doesn't get ruined. So I'm going to add a little bit of ribbon here. This is some ribbon I got off of Amazon. Actually, I love the black and the white ribbon and the thicker ribbon. So I am just going to add this to one of the cardboard tags. I'm going to staple it on there. And then I'll just like glue it down to the card and it'll be fine. I put 2 staples in that and then I trimmed up my ribbon. I also, most of the time, I burn the top of my ribbon so that it doesn't fray. I had wished that I would have put that down a little bit lower, but then I will end up adding something to the bottom of that tag to like even it out. Because with the ribbon on there, it made the tag higher. So I should have put it down lower. And then I'm adding these word phrase stickers to each of Kayla's photos. And I like just stacking these in 3. I take 3 of them and then I like to just stack them on top of each other. That's usually how I use the word phrase stickers. And I use a pair of tweezers a lot of times to do that smaller stuff. And you can see they're kind of like wonky. They're not like perfectly straight. And that's sort of like how they work. It's what I like. So because I'm not doing the calendar yet, what I'm going to do with those 2 pieces, like the chipboard and then the wood veneer that I want to use on the calendar, I'm just going to stick them in the pocket. So I know I want to use those on the calendar and I'll come back to them, but I'm just now, like I'm going through and doing all of my embellishing now. So I don't want to get hung up on, because I'm not doing the calendar yet. And then here is the outside photos. And what I'm going to do is use 3 of the chipboard, and I'm going to make basically like a triangle. That's what I like to do with my embellishments. So we'll use the flag on this one. I'm just using adhesive and putting that directly onto the photo. Then I'm going to move the loved this. I'm going to move it over to this 3x4 pocket. And this was the tree that we were trimming down. Thank God it didn't fall down during any of the storms, because I was quite worried that it was going to fall down. So my husband trimmed that up. So I have that piece of chipboard there. And then I want another chipboard on this card, but I want it so it can create somewhat of a triangle effect. So I'm going to use this memories, which I know the 3x4 card says remember, and then this chipboard piece says memories. So that might feel like a little much, but I liked the gray. I liked the shape of it, and it went well. So I have the wood chip pieces, and they are in somewhat of a triangle, and then I'll do journaling on that other card. So this I'm going to end up leaving this because I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to do with it. I know I have larger photos coming, so I'm just going to leave the back of that pocket alone, and then I'm going to go ahead and embellish the second, the very end of February with my 4x6s. And again, I'm just looking to place those pieces of chipboard on there. I love these hearts that have like the big heart in the middle and then the outline hearts, and I do end up using those. I'm also realizing and thinking about the fact that I will have larger photos, and I will need to embellish those as well. The hearts that are puffy already have adhesive on them, and then the chipboard pieces don't. The chipboard pieces used to have adhesive, but they're thinner now and they don't have adhesive. So I actually just use my Stampin' Up! Snail. Now, if you do not want to put adhesive on your photos, I understand that that might be something that you hesitate to do. You can also put these embellishments directly on the page protector. So just put your photo into the pocket, and then whatever embellishment you want to do, put it on the outside of the pocket, and it will work just fine. And then you're not putting that adhesive or that embellishment onto your actual photo. It doesn't bother me to do that. All my photos are backed up multiple places, so it's not going to bother me to like if the photo gets ruined. I'm less concerned about that, I guess, is how I'll put that. So here I am. I'm back. My Becky Higgins enlargements came. Thank God they packaged them well, because they delivered, whoever delivered the box threw it at my office door, and we didn't know it. The box was soaked, and I was so worried that my actual photos inside were ruined, but you can see they are completely wrapped in plastic, so none of my photos were ruined. So thank goodness. I was so happy to see that. So I had a bunch of 12x12 photos done. I did these in the app. So this is one that I did the photo, and then I did the text getting ready for more snow. This was in between storms. And then I did several enlargements, and then several collage pages. And I did these in real time. So like for this day that you're seeing here that I'm putting in, I did that page that day. Like it might have stretched over 2 days, but it's a screenshot of the text that we got from the school. It's Andrew out in the snow in his shorts, and he might not even have shoes on. And then there are this one here where we had like the notification of a snow day, a couple screenshots of the weather app, and then some photos, actually the larger photos, and even this large photo that I'm putting in this page protector right here, I actually just stole from Facebook. So I'm a big believer in like snagging those photos. You see, like we have a community group for our town. Our town is 800 people. So we have a Facebook group and it's only the people that live in our town. And we like that one large photo of Main Street was posted in that group by somebody, and I saved it to my device and then used it. As long as you're not making money off of it, as long as you're not passing it around publicly or reposting it, if it's in your personal album, it's probably fine. Same thing with the flower farm that was on their Facebook page, and I snagged it. So now I'm just checking to see like where February is at. It's pretty complete other than the journaling. And then I need to embellish the larger photos that I just did. But it's always nice to go back and kind of check what is happening, like what you've used and what's going on. I also want to use more of the kit. So I want to be able to use more of that before I break it all up and put it all away. So here's the enlargements. And then I did one of those in a 6x12 page protector. And then I don't want to add another page protector here because then I'm going to have to figure out something to go on the other side of it. So that's what I'm trying to figure out right now, is I'm realizing if I add another page protector, there'll have to be something on the back of it. And I don't want that. So I'm going to pull out this collage page with those photos. And then I'm going to do this big photo of Main Street. And then on the back of that, I'm going to put that. And that was the last day of the snowstorm. So those are all photos from the last day. So I need to add an Avery index tab to the 6x12. But I'm like, okay, that's perfect. So now I have this spot right here that says every moment is magical. And I think, well, I'm just going to use these photos. I'm just going to cut them down. And I'm going to use these photos as the start of the snowstorm. So they're technically like out of order, not even a little bit out of order. These photos I'm cutting right now were literally like 4 days into the storm. And the large photo that says getting ready for more snow was before these photos. It's fine. Like, it's totally fine. Nobody cares. Like, at the end of the day, literally nobody cares where the photos are. I'm very much a chronological memory keeper. I very much want things in chronological order. Does it totally bother me that these are out of order? Yes, but I'm just going to try not to be psychotic, and I'm going to just let it go and realize that nobody really cares. The whole point is they're beautiful photos. It really is about the storms have been fun. Like, even though they have caused issues, and like, you know, California's in a state of emergency and all of those things, but you have to like, there is magic in this. It is so, you know, beautiful. And also there was part of it that was fun for the community to come together and to be talking about the snow and posting photos, and like, there was an aspect of that was really magical. We live in a very small, tight-knit community, and so there was an aspect of it that was really magical. So that's the thing that is fun. It doesn't really matter if these are out of order in the album. Just like putting those photos of Kayla that were taken in January in February, nobody cares. Like, it's totally fine. So I used a punch, and I punched out the right here from that 3x4 card, and then I stuck that card back in there, and so it's like kind of the start of this, all of the snow and everything that happened. I need to put a Avery index tab on the 6x8, but then the last thing I'm going to do is add a few of these embellishments to all of these snow photos, which is really fun. These pops of color on the snow is just like, it really is magical. Like, it is so fun to add these. And so I'm going to add one of the pink hearts that says love this. I wish I would have added it on the road, but I added it where the electric pull it, like where the wire is. Like, I thought, oh, it kind of looks cool that the heart is like hanging on that wire. And now looking at it, I'm like, oh, I wish I would have put it lower on the road, but that's a fun one. And I really just wanted to keep putting heart photos in the middle of all these snow photos, which I guess I totally could have, but I was like, oh, maybe I should like mix it up. The other thing about the word phrase stickers for this month, it was very much like I love yous kinds of phrases. And so I was having a hard time with them being generic enough just to add to all the pieces. So I add that XO, and then I was going to add the word phrase underneath it, but I add it right on top. And then that works, ties it all together. And then we'll just keep going with the embellishments. I really love using up all of an embellishment. Like, it is the best when you look at an embellishment that you have and you use all of it, and you can like throw the packaging away and be like, I used all of this. It's amazing. So I love that. And so I really, it's my favorite part at the very end. Like once all the photos are done and the page protectors are in, and then you just get to use all the pretty stuff. So I did an XO chipboard piece in this like triangle. And then I added one of the puffy hearts right above it. For a little red pop. And you can see like there's a heart right there, and then there's a heart right there, and then there's a heart right there. Like there's a lot of hearts that I used in January and February both. And so I like hearts. And so I don't really care if I've used a ton of them because I like them. And so never feel like you can't use something. If you like it, don't feel like you can't use it because you've used it too much, or, you know, other people don't use that item as much. Whatever it is that you like using, I say use it. I'm that way with stars, hearts, word phrases, all of that. I use a ton. I really wanted to have like this heart. I wanted like to do 3 hearts like in a triangle in these boxes, but I didn't have another heart that would work. The other, like, I don't even know what that material is. It's not plasticky, but it's like puffy. The only other heart that I had left from the kit said kisses. And there was really no good place to use that one. So I ended up not using that one. I'll stick it in my stash. But I did love the one that said love. And then that red heart that says remember, I really liked as well. So right under joy, I'm just going to add 3 of the word phrase stickers. Again, it's just going to tie it together. So it's just going to tie all of the pieces together. So I'm just going to continue to add a few embellishments. I didn't press these down so I could make sure that they were straight at the end. That's a tip I have for you. Just if you're adding embellishments directly to a photo, don't press down right away. Take a look at it, and then once you know it's straight, then go ahead and press it down. So that is my pages for February. I hope that you have enjoyed seeing them. Here you're going to see I keep trying to use those hearts. I don't know if I end up using these or not, but I keep trying to use them. Next week I will share my my journaling with you on these, and you will see that. And then if you want more of my memory keeping items, I would love for you to join my membership. It is $15 a month, and we do lots of different memory keeping projects in there. And then on the screen here are 2 of my other videos that I've done recently that you can check out. You can hit that subscribe if you're new to my channel, and hit the bell so you get notified when I upload. And I've enjoyed creating with you today, and I'll be back next week with more projects.